This is a demonstration on how to do columns, and also deals with hyphenation. There's an instruction sheet that you're going to have to look at. So assuming that you have number 1 done, you have the document open. Number 2 would be to put your name here, and so you would just select this, and then you would type in your name, and that would put your name there at the top. Going to number 3, to turn on automatic hyphenation, you would go to page layout, hyphenation. When you click on automatic hyphenation, Word does its best to try to figure out where to correctly hyphenate words. Doesn't always do it exactly right, but this is what's happening. So if I click automatic, if you watch your document in the background, you'll start seeing, for example, that bi-monthly is now hyphenated, and maintain is hyphenated, and so forth. Going to the next one, it says select the second paragraph, the one that starts with when designing. So a quick way of getting a paragraph would just be to click 3 times rapidly. So just go click, 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 and there's a paragraph. It says create 2 columns, make the first column 2.5 inches wide and the second column 3. So when we go into, still in the page layout tab, go to columns, we can't just choose, well, I'll just go into 2 and show you what happens. If you go into 2, you get 2 equal columns. So you could go in and fuss up here and get them lined up. But there's an easier way to do this. I'm just going to hit undo. So you're still selected, go into columns, go into more columns. And then once you get into more columns, you get the columns dialog box. Now say 2 columns, and now it's really important to deselect where it says equal column width. So I'm going to click here to remove the check mark. Now I can go into column 1, and I can just type in 2.5. And as I click into column 2, it automatically realizes that this is what I have left. So we have a 6-inch line up here, and we have a 1/2 inch here, which means we have 5.5 inches to type, and so it now at 2.5 here, you have 3 inches here. So we're going to say OK. Okay, then it says to single space the columns and leave 1 blank line before the next paragraph. So the quick way to go into single space is to go Control 1. And then as you look at this, there needs to be more room before this new paragraph, focus and balance. So if you're at the beginning of the paragraph, click on paragraph, indents and spacing, go to before, and 12 point is 1 blank line. So we're going to click OK. This is a 1 blank line if you have a 12-point document. Okay, so now it says turn hyphenation off for the paragraph that starts with focus and balance. Well, this is where we're at right now. And as you can see, nameplates hyphenated, prefers hyphenated, photos are hyphenated. If we want to turn it off for just this 1 paragraph, we don't even have to select the paragraph, because this, what we're going to do is a paragraph format instructions. So if you're in the paragraph and go paragraph, line and page breaks, there's a place that says don't hyphenate. If you click that, watch what happens when I click OK. These hyphens should go away. So I'll click OK and see how the hyphens just in that one are gone. But if I go back and look up here and here, you'll still see the hyphenation. Okay, then it says take the paragraph under choosing paperweight. So let's find choosing paperweight, which is down here in page 2. So we're going to take the paragraph and divide it into 3 columns. So I'm just going to go click, 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 or you can go out here and go click, click. So 2 clicks if you're outside in the white area, 3 clicks if you're in the typing area. If you want to make it 3 equal columns, just go here and go columns 3. And it says to single space it, so I'm going to go Control 1. And wherever you see purple now, I want to force this to be the beginning of the second column. So I want to do a column break. So I'm going to go into break, column break, and then go over here and go break, column break, and that'll make it break where I want. Then it says to make the bulleted paragraphs at the end of the document into 2 equal columns. So I'm going to go down and find the bulleted items. And I'm just going to select through the period, okay, not past the period. And I'm going to go into columns 2. Okay. Now, it says at the end of the columns, leave 1 blank line and return to 1 column. So I'm still in 2 columns. I'm going to deselect this now and just go into Home and go Show Hide. You see this section break right here? If you look down here, we're in, now it doesn't say what section we're in. If I go down to this gray area here and right click, I can tell it to show the sections by clicking right here. And now when I go down and look at this, it's going to tell me what section I'm in. Okay, so this area here is section 7, but when I click here after the section break continuous, see how I'm in section, let's see, this is 6. This is 7. This is a new section. If you go into the draft mode, you can see at the bottom here, see where I'm at? I'm after the section break continuous. So going into draft mode can show you if you're before or after a section break. Okay, so at this point I don't want to have any bulleted items. So I'm going to go ahead and go into bullets and say none. Okay, and there's a spacer. I'm just going to get rid of that little space too. And then it says make sure you have 1 blank line, which we do. And this type of paragraph. Okay, and put a thick border around it. So if I go into borders, and I go into outside borders, I've got a border. If it weren't thick, I could just go here, go to borders and shading, and I can tell it how wide. So if you had a half here and 1 and 3, 3 is fairly thick, so 3 would be good. And I want it to be all 4 sides, so that's what we've got. So I'm going to type something. And one of the instructions now was to go in and fill it with a dark color. So I'm going to go to the bucket. I choose a dark color. And you notice how the font turns to white. So when it prints, you'll have a dark background, but the font automatically realizes that it's going to have to be white. It can no longer be black, so it does it for you. And that concludes this demonstration.